strange environment. As you can see, I'm moving, but this week we have got on Real Estate Renegades a 30-year history of how a woman in a man's world not only survived but thrived in real estate. So good timing as part of the International Women's Day, which we've made International Women's Month. We have got for you, while I'm packing, this podcast is now in the wonderful hands of Naomi and Lisa, who are going to go a retrospective on what it's been like for 3+ decades being a woman in real estate and what it's taken to not only survive but thrive. Check this out. You want the normal real estate training you've been told a million times? Make cold calls, knock on doors. Best be switching off now, because in this podcast we go out of the box using unknown tactics, primarily that the real estate industry's never heard of, in order to get you called in more often, convert those listings and get more success without the painful cold calling. Listen up, we're in for a ride. This is Real Estate Renegades. All right, so before we get to it, as I said, I'm moving, but while I'm working and doing this and lugging boxes, what hasn't stopped is the lead generation service being done by my team in order for me to help you do your prospecting. That's phone calls, that's cold calls, that's lead generation on Facebook, that is getting you into doors for appraisals with your outsourced prospecting system done at agentprospecting.com.au. Check it out now. Take a trial for a month or two and see if it's for you long term to outsource your prospecting efforts. And now on to today's podcast as part of International Women's Month, I guess. Here's Naomi and Lisa.
So welcome everybody to Real Estate Renegades episode number, I think it's number 34. So we're getting up there in numbers. And what better renegade to be talking to today from the industry, none other than Lisa B. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as part of March, being the month that we have been celebrating International Women's Day, we made a decision that we would dedicate the entire month to women in real estate. And so far, we've heard from industry legends Jodie Curran, Joanne Riley, Vivian Yap, and today we are honoured to have the industry legend with us, Lisa B. Multi-award winning author, 30-year veteran. She's owned and operated real estate businesses, mentored hundreds of agents across the years. She's owner of the popular Facebook page, Let's Talk About Real Estate. She is my friend, my peer, my colleague. Again, Lisa B., thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. And it's an honour being International Women's Day month. Yes. But yeah, us girls are focused.
Absolutely.
I think it's good.
Yeah, we are definitely focused, and women make up such a huge part of the real estate industry. And we do have a little bit of a leg up over the boys being women in the industry. So that's a good thing. It is also very hard being a woman in real estate, and it's hard being a bloke as well. But when you're a mum and you're a wife or a partner, and you've got all these other roles that you have in your world, you definitely find that sometimes the pressure is on when you're in real estate. So it can become difficult. And I'm not taking anything away from the blokes, I have to say.
No, we've all got our hard times and all things that we've got to do, and it's different pressures and different emotional pressures and all that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Dale, give us a bit of a rundown. So for those that have been living under a rock and don't know who Lisa Brown is, so the Lisa B is Lisa Brown, everyone. I spoke to a client yesterday, and she's a Lisa as well. And I said to her, you should just be Lisa G. Like, just go with the flow. Lisa B, Lisa G. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. You know, Naomi T doesn't roll off the tongue like Lisa B does.
No, that's my adult name. There's a long story behind that, but that's my adult name now. Yes.
So Dale, give us a rundown. Where are you at right now? What are you doing? You don't list and sell real estate anymore, but you absolutely are 100% within the industry. So give us a bit of a rundown of where you're at.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I started in real estate, as you said, 30 years ago. So I bought my first property in my early 20s, and the real estate agent that sold it to me, I thought, wow, if that's what he can do selling real estate, I reckon I've got this covered. You know, I reckon I can do this. And so then I started in my early 20s, and then had my own real estate office and had different offices sort of over different areas. Always loved real estate, always just loved it. It was always my passion. When I was working in Sydney in Mossman, I started studying all the marketing masters, and studied like Frank Kern, Jay Abraham, who you're bringing out shortly, Brendan Bouchard, like a lot of the marketing legends. And then real estate agents started asking me, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? And then that's how I started getting into online courses and, selling online courses and coaching and training and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
And, I kind of really stood out, and that's, kind of the personal branding that I love doing. I read the book 4 Hour Work Week and thought, I want to do that. So then I based my business, my coaching and everything else on being able to work from wherever I am in the world. And that was one of the books that really changed my direction a lot. Outside of real estate, I'm a kayaker, I'm a mum, I'm a
jet skier.
Jet ski. Oh yeah, I love jet skiing. An entrepreneur. I love business. At the moment, I'm working alongside you guys, and we're doing EXP. So that's been, kind of challenging, a different kettle of fish completely to what I've been doing.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's always been real estate, and it's something I don't think I can ever get away from. I think it gets into your blood, it gets into your system, and it's hard to, it becomes an addiction, I think, real estate, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, absolutely. So the $1 million question is, would you ever go back to listing and selling real estate?
You know what? Sometimes I've thought about it. I've watched some of these TV shows.
I've thought about it as well.
I watch some of the TV shows, and I think, and I get all excited, and I think, no, I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too. I love what I'm doing. Yeah. I am about to I'm about to don the tools again. My mum's selling her home, our family home, which we're all a little bit shaky about, but she's cool. She wants to do it. Mum's ready, and the rest of the family like, where are we going to have Christmas? We're all,
wow. So you're going to be doing that? You're getting back on the tools.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
100%. So I'm looking forward to that. So look, I suppose, in just looking at across the board for women in real estate, I've got a few questions that I do want to ask you, and these are questions that I spoke with Jodie Curran and Joanne Riley about as well in the first week of March. And anybody who's listening today, if you didn't listen to that podcast, go back, have a listen to it, because it is an incredible interview that we did. The girls just part off so much knowledge, not only for women in real estate, but also for the blokes in real estate as well. But what I wanted to start with you was, what advice would you give? I know.
We're not teaching English.
1:30 this morning. No. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway.
I know, you've had
what advice would you give your younger self when you first started out in real estate? So what advice would you have given yourself?
Look, you know what? I was so pumped and I was so driven. I put myself out there. There's no advice I could have given myself in real estate that I didn't do. Like I had it nailed, killed it in my area. But the thing that I probably didn't do was know how to switch off. But in saying that, I didn't want to. I didn't want to switch off. I was enjoying it. I loved it. It was like people would say, you need a break. No, I don't want to. I'm reading a business book. I'm loving this. Yeah. But it does catch up on you eventually. Even when you think you're loving it, it does catch up. And it got to the point where I didn't realize it was kind of coming up, and I got to the point where it was like, man, I need a break. I need to do something differently. Yeah. Then I kind of worked out how to delegate and how to leverage and all that sort of thing. But I didn't think I needed to until it got to the point where I thought, if I don't do something, I'm going to die of a stress-related disease, because you do get so addicted to the feeling, and you're so pumped up, and it's, there's so much happening, and it's not until you start to think, this is not good for me, then you think about delegating. So, even then, I don't know if I would have done it because I enjoyed it too much.
Yeah. And I suppose that's sort of, if you look back over the career, and that would probably be my biggest piece of advice to agents as well, is to say to them, get the help early. Don't wait until you're either burnt out or you've hit the ceiling where you can no longer go any further.
Exactly.
Hire someone in the early days to support you.
Absolutely. No, I
agree. And I suppose, and that leads me to my next question. Would that be the thing that you would change looking back on your career?
You know what? I don't really have any regrets, because everything that I did has led me to where I am. You know, it's like I make sure now that I take time with my son. I make sure that I switch off. I make sure I have those days kayaking and exercising and jet skiing and, you know, whatever else I can.
Whispering to the dolphins.
Yeah,
Dolphin, be the dolphin whisperer. I can't wait for the day where you see a shark.
Oh no, I do that. I've seen them all the time. Haven't you seen
really?
one where I've got one where he jumps out just near us. Max and I were on the kayak and it jumps out. I'll send you the link. Yeah, it jumps out just as we're there.
I'm
filming a turtle and then I hear this big splash and I went like this and a bull shark jumps out. Yeah, I'll send you the link. Yeah, no, we see sharks all the time.
God.
Ugh. Yeah, not great whites, are just bull sharks.
Yeah,
they're still a great.
But bull sharks are renowned for being a little bit aggressive too. So
I know.
Absolutely.
But you know what? They're in their natural environment, and you know, you can't live your life in fear. You know,
no, that's exactly right. So, Dale, tell us, what do you think over the years has been some of the main things that you've done? Because you're a mum, you know, you've got Max as and Max is 14 now, I think, is he 14?
13, yeah. 14, 14. Yeah.
So, you know, you've gone through real estate with a young child. What were some of the things that you did to make life easier?
I juggled a lot.
Yep.
The flexibility of working from home, like I made sure that I did that I had my systems in place to be able to support him and still be able to work, and whether I had to work, you know, juggle my hours as well.
Yep.
But in the same token, having a child helped me switch off too, as I said before. So, you know, the things that I put in place, he helped me with a lot of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of forced to when you have kids.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you are.
You
are. And if I didn't have a child, I would have forced myself in some other way.
Yeah,
you know.
and you were on your own for most of that time too, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just you and he and your real estate career or your real estate business. You know, the relationship of 3, really.
Yes.
But it's amazing. I mean, Jodie Curran was saying the exact same thing about her kids as well, and I know that Vivian Yap has the same approach as well. Joe's kids are a little bit older, so they're a lot more sort of, you know, independent, but your kids adapt. And you know what? I think your kids love seeing you achieve. Like I really do
absolutely.
think they love you sharing with them what you do. And I think if you share with them, they really become part of it, and they have a vested interest in mum. Yeah, mum's going to work. She's, you know, helping people buy or sell or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And you know, that would probably be what I would say is, tell your kids everything you do. Keep them informed. You know, I mean, Jodie Curran even said she put them in the car and drove them around to every listing that she had, and she told her boys the situation for each of her sellers, which I think is just beautiful. You know, that works really well.
Too. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got Max shares in EXP, so he's got a financial vested interest in the company. So
that's good.
You know, so I've done that. You know, I did a book with him. You know, so I've
did too,
you know, just tried to involve him. You know, I've got my book, so I did a book for him. So you know, I've tried to bring him with me in the journey as well, you know, just kind of subtle things or not so subtle things.
Yeah. And they love it. The
I think
kids
it's
love
important.
It too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's important.
So tell us, what do you reckon? And look, I asked the girls this question. They both said, "Oh, nothing's a failure," and I agree with them. But I couldn't think of a better word. What do you consider to be your biggest? I'm going to change it actually. What do you consider to be your biggest lesson in real estate?
Well, going into business, and this is kind of a bit of a personal thing, but I mean, it is applicable. And if I can stop somebody from making the same mistake, going into business with my ex-partner and not having business agreements in place, that would cost me a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're in a relationship and you think everything's fantastic and everything's great.
Yep.
Then if the wheels fall off, and the reason I'm saying this, normally I don't kind of air dirty laundry or anything like that, but I've had 2 people in the last week, 2 women, that have actually reached out and said, you know, that they're having trouble with this sort of thing now. So, you know, that would be my advice or my learnings is in business to always have business agreements. Don't think it's just a mate and have a handshake or a, you know, whatever. Business is still business, and your finances, you've still got to look after yourself financially as well, and your children. And don't just think that everything's going to be okay, because sometimes, you know, a lot of the time it is, and that's great, but sometimes the wheels do fall off. So that would be my piece of advice.
Your piece of advice, yeah, I definitely think so too. Especially as we sort of as the world matures more and we're in more precarious situations like COVID and things like that, having these agreements in place is definitely something that I would advise, all agents to do,
Yeah,
and make sure you read
absolutely.
them. Don't just sign them.
Yeah. Yes.
Make sure you read them. Don't just sign them. That would be the other thing
Yes.
too. So Don,
Exactly.
let's move over to something that I know is a bit of your passion, and that's sort of branding and marketing and that sort of thing. So tell me,
Absolutely.
we know how important personal branding is in the real estate world, but what do you specifically do to stand out, and what would you advise an agent to do to stand out amongst the crowd? What would be your advice to them?
All right. Personally, I've my books, that was something that's quite unique to those that do it. It's kind of like not a lot of people publish a book. So books.
How many have you got now?
I've got six.
Cool.
Six including Max's, yeah, and then I've done books for other people as well. So
show us Max's. Show everybody what Max's book looks like that you did for your boy. Sorry.
That's all right. So that's there. And because this is a poem that my mother wrote, Max's grandmother, and he never got to meet his grandmother.
Yep.
So that was like a little caricature I had done of him and my mum to kind of put them together in the book.
Yep.
So it was sort of like her legacy and him being attached to that. So
beautiful.
That was a fun little thing to work on with him as well. So he's got that forever. He's on Amazon and all of that sort of thing.
That's beautiful. And what would be, which is your most favourite book that you did? I know I was involved with our favourite one, Banish the Bitch.
Yeah, I loved Banish the Bitch. That was
fun.
Yeah, Banish the Bitch is all about masculine and feminine energy. And I love that book because that was my transition over 10 years. It took me 10 years to write that book. Wow. And I still love that book. I pick it up and I look at it and I go, yep, still applies, still applies, still applies.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the next one would definitely be Secret Agents. And that's the personal branding that we were talking about. So,
and everybody that's listening, if they wanted to get a copy, where can they go?
My website, just lisab.com.au. Yeah, all my books
easy.
are on there.
lisab.com.au. We might actually put that down the bottom on the podcast recording. I know it won't be live on Facebook, but I'm sure everybody can remember. www.lisab, just the letter, not B-E-E, just the letter, .com.au. You can get a copy of one of Lisa's books. Any of your books, they're all there, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I had the books, then I had columns in like Elite Agent Magazine, coach on Transform with them, consulted to many different real estate groups. I got to meet a lot of people through that, a judge through REB Awards. So I get to see what's happening out there with different people. And I love being a judge on the REB Awards. I love seeing the quality of the applications and all of that sort of thing. Have my own podcast, go on podcasts like yourself. My Let's Talk About Real Estate group, which has got 4,500 agents, and that's a very active page. So if I was a real estate agent, I would definitely be involved in like listing and selling. I'd definitely be involved in more video marketing and social media. 100%. Videos are just unbelievable for your profile and all that sort of thing. So definitely the videos.
What about these agents that sort of say, like I'll get agents that are saying to me, and I know that we haven't spoken about this question, but I know that you'll be able to answer it. So I often get agents saying to me, I don't want to waste my time talking to homeowners that aren't selling now, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to an agent that says that to you?
You've got to put them in the pipeline. It's every single one. I still work like that with my clients now. I've got people that are considering, coming with us, and I've got ones, that are 6 months away and 12 months away. You've just got to keep moving people up the pipeline and helping them. In business, it's all about helping people, and you can't sort of throw your dummy out of the pram and say they're not listing now, I'm not going to deal with them or whatever. Even if they list with somebody else, still keep that relationship. And I was talking about it with somebody yesterday. It's amazing how many agents miss out on a listing to somebody else and they start abusing the seller. And you said you're going to come with me or this or that. Always be graceful and always be, appreciative and grateful. And they might come back to you or they refer other people to you. If the other agent sucks, then you might, they'll probably refer other people to you 100%. Or they'll come back to you. So, it's always about, identifying if somebody is looking at selling, not quite now, keep that relationship. That's what real estate is building relationships.
Yeah, definitely. We did a survey a few years back, and we contacted 100 homeowners that had kind of sold within the last 2 or 3 years, and we asked them the question: oh no, it was listings. So current listings. We rang 100 listings across Queensland, and we asked them, are you selling with the agent that you bought from? That was the first question, and the second question was, why not? If you're not, why not? And you know what? 7 out of 10 people that were selling were not selling with the agent that they bought from.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
That's right. And the reason being was because the main reason being was because the agents didn't stay in contact with them. So they didn't maintain that relationship. And I can't stress enough to agents how important that is. Can you imagine if you walked into Maya, right? If you walked into Maya and Maya said, oh, sorry, hang on a minute, just need to talk to you. Are you going to be spending money with us today?
Yeah,
because if you're not, you can't come in.
Exactly.
Can you imagine that? That would just be, that is a business model that is totally unsustainable.
Yeah.
So I think that if agents can sort of start to look at every single person that they speak to in their marketplace, like you and I do.
Yeah.
Whether they're willing, whether they're ready to do real estate now or not, they are definitely value into your business. So
absolutely.
Lots of agents get it. Lots of agents do get it. So it's very important. So tell me, what do you think is the best marketing tip that you've ever received?
Funny enough, you're promoting Jay Abraham, and I love Jay Abraham, as I tell you. I think it was really his. There's a couple, but Jay Abraham is the one that I said that inspired me to write Secret Agents, because I came away from his event. And as I said, it was about the marketing pillars. It's about your business is here, and your business is propped up by the marketing methods you use. Without those, your business falls, right? Yep. So he calls it the Parthenon. So mine was multiple ways of making the phone ring. So that's really where my book came from. So then it was like, what are all the different marketing strategies that real estate agents can use that are going to prop up their business? So that's kind of what really inspired that. So that was one. Don't rely on one source of marketing. You should always be actioning different sources. And when I had my real estate office, it was, like who's doing the for sale by owners, who's doing the untidy houses, who's doing the investors, who's doing the whatever, we had each source actioned, and it was being actioned all the time. So, that was amazing. Brennan Bouchard was to repurpose everything. Yep. You do a video, you do a transcript, you do a podcast, you do a, social media quotes, you do whatever, so you're repurposing all the time. And then the other thing was the video marketing. Like that was something that really, got me on the map 13 years ago in the real estate space, because hardly anyone was doing them. And that's why real estate agents were contacting me. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do social media? And so, back then I was the one of the experts on real estate social media back then, and videos and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And, so they would be the main things for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we always say it's not one thing that will get you 20 listings, going back to Jay Abraham's philosophy. It's not the one thing that will get you 20 listings, it's the 20 things that will get you the one listing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not just a saying, it's not blowing wind in the air or in your face or anything like that. That is absolutely the truth. That is how it works.
Yep.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
So Dale, tell me, COVID-19, how did that change your world? How did that change what you were doing? Like what changes did you make in your life during 2020?
Well, I think for us, it was, perfect with the XP because it was a work from home model. So, it was sort of, people saw that it was possible, and that, that they could have the flexible hours. So that would be the number one thing, is just the working from home. Like I'd always done it, like I've done it for the last 12 years or something, but it was just other people going, oh, okay, this can actually work. And other principals seeing that their salespeople can work like that as well. So I think that was, for me, was the work from home model.
And what advice were you giving your clients during that time? Like, I know
keep marketing.
It
was like, don't stop.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
keep going,
100%.
And it's the ones that kept going that are getting all the listings now. It was like,
exactly.
I didn't want them to have to restart everything and have to restart, I wanted them to keep the momentum. So that was the number one thing, was just keep marketing, no matter how, no matter what's going on, just keep putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Melbourne agents who really suffered the most during lockdown, you know, our Melbourne agent clients, we would say to them, just get on the phone, just start to ring your clients, just have a chat to them, you know, just ring them and ask them how they're going. You know, do they need anything? Is there anything you can do for them? Don't ring them and ask them if they're thinking of selling over COVID or after COVID.
No.
Just touch base with them, see how they're mentally going. So no matter what's happening in the world, there's always something that you can be doing. And you're absolutely right. You know, Joanne Riley, she rang me. I remember she rang me. She goes, "What do we do?" And I went, double everything that you're doing, double the phone calls, double the advert spend, double this, double that. She's had a record year. Like, you know, in her COVID year was her record year. And she's, you know, she probably won't mind me saying this, but she was just shy of $1 million over COVID. Like that's monumental, and she's going strong, just as strong now at the moment. So it's
good on her.
Yeah,
good on her.
So tell me, who has had the biggest impact on your career that has led you to where you are today?
Okay, when I first started in real estate, Brian Tracy.
Yep.
Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I loved his
book.
book.
Brian Tracy is amazing.
I remember I got advanced selling strategies when I was, 23 or whatever it was. And I opened the book and I went, okay, I'm just going to do whatever he says. And I highlighted everything and I didn't go to the next page until I did the first thing. I didn't I wanted to read it. And I'm like, no, not going to go to it until I've done this. And so his was like my Bible. Yep. Tony Robbins, big time, just for mind, mind awareness, all of that sort of thing, and not being scared to do things and knowing how your mind works. Yep. Tim Ferriss, so the 4-Hour Work Week.
Of course, yep.
Jay Abraham, of course, the marketing. Brennan Bouchard, and people won't like this, but Neil Genman. Neil Genman was somebody who, without him, I don't know what I would have done starting off in real estate. He was like the trainer that I found that I related to at the time. And
he's got some sound principles.
He was instrumental in just me knowing how to run an office. Like I'm in my 20s, I knew nothing. Yep. At least I had a structure. Without that, I wouldn't have had a structure. I wouldn't have had anything. So I owe a lot to him. Yep. I mean, I paid him a lot too, don't get me wrong, but just without his systems, I would have been lost.
But look, I mean, you paid, but look at what it
did. Oh yeah, exactly.
It gave you an amazing amount of knowledge and
big time.
And, really sort of set a great platform for you to become who you are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
With everybody else, of course, that's along the way also.
Exactly. Yeah.
So getting towards our last questions, tell me, as a woman in real estate, what makes you proud at the moment?
Well, I think I was proud of myself when I started 30 years ago, when I started in real estate, and there weren't a lot of women in real estate back then, and especially in my area. The men expected me to fail and said so, basically, what, she's wearing short skirts, that's how she's going to get her listings, and, all that sort of stuff. Yep. And went from no respect from them to total respect from them once I had my business up and running and all of that sort of thing. And I'd beat them on listings, all of that sort of thing. So it went from them thinking she's going to fail to she's a good operator, Yeah. So that was really good. That was a really good feeling.
Yeah.
I think that for me, I've never felt that being a woman has been a detriment in any way, because I've always made my own path and all that sort of thing. So, I've either had my own business virtually I've had my own business the whole time, but it was like, I was responsible for my pay, and I was responsible for any increases to my pay, so I wasn't relying on somebody giving me a pay rise. It was like, I want a pay rise.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just increase my commission that I charge, or, I sell more houses. So, so I think I've always just been in control of my own destiny with that. And I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of. And the other thing is that being a female now in real estate, I'm proud of the fact that I really care less and less about what other people say. That, in my 20s and 30s, it was all like, and this is something I always say to my son, if there's one thing that I can really teach him is not to worry about what other people think. For sure. And it's something I think it does come with age, but it's kind of like the older you get, the less you care about what the haters think and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, look, online bullying is actually at an all-time high in the industry. And I think that agents tend to take every opportunity they can to sometimes, maybe it's the tall poppy syndrome, I don't know, whether that is the case, whether it's insecurities, I just don't know. I mean, I know that you, and like us as well, like me as well, have been victims of just totally unprovoked attacks from, a small group of industry members.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure everybody else, a lot of women and men would be experiencing this on a day-to-day. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that there should be, because there's been some calls that the governing body should maybe make some changes to the code of conduct in each state to cover online bullying of real estate agents. Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't lost anybody yet because of it, but is it going to take that for changes to be made?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think there needs to be changes made, absolutely. But I mean, I don't think we've been a victim of it. I wouldn't, you're saying like we've been a targeted, for want of a better word, a target. But we always turn those into positives. When people do that, we always turn it into an opportunity to say what we do and how others are, are not either getting it or not. I mean, they're not our people. They're not, right. So I think we do need to have some changes in that and more accountability for what people say. Yeah. But not only the bad stuff either. I think even some of the agents that are saying things that they're doing that aren't true, I think there needs to be accountability on that as well. Yeah, sure. You can point the finger at different people, but also, you've got to make sure that you're saying the right things going out there too. So I think it's a two-way street with that. Yeah, definitely. But I think there should be change,
accountability. And look, if anybody listening today is being a victim of online bullying at all, seek out some help. I know you could reach out to Lisa, you can reach out to me. We would be more than happy to help you, if there is anybody that's feeling like that. Absolutely. So Dal, I suppose my last question is, tell me a little bit about Lisa B's future. So what are you seeing is going to be happening in the world of Lisa B over the next 5 years?
That's a great question. I've got no idea. I'm too busy here.
I know. Don't ever ask.
I'm still going to be kayaking. I'm still going to be living on the water. You can't drag me away from Queensland.
Can't drag you.
I mean, my business, I'm just so focused on my business. I've got, the energy that I had back in my 20s and 30s that I never thought I'd get back. I've got that back. So, I'm kind of, we're in this new business and whatnot with EXP. Yep. And so I'm just excited to see what the future holds with that, the business that we're building with that. For sure. And the other opportunities that come from that. I'm just really excited about it. I don't really have kind of like a set idea of what that's going to look like. I mean, I do and I don't. But I know I'm not leaving where I'm living, that's for sure.
So you're staying right where you are. Queensland's your home because you're a Sydney girl, right?
Yeah, Wollongong and then Sydney and then Queensland. Yeah. You can't get me away from Sydney. From Queensland. You can't get me back. You can't get me back to Sydney.
Getting a bit old now. Where am I?
I don't know where I am. See, who knows?
It's Friday. It's Friday. I mean, it's what time is it over there? Like it's almost 1 o'clock or something, isn't it?
12 o'clock. Yeah.
It's wine time. Friday.
Yeah.
All right, Dal. Look, okay. So we're just going to finish off with a couple of quick fire questions that you have no idea about what I'm going to ask you here.
Gosh.
It's okay. You'll be all right. Don't worry.
Then I see where I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll survive. All right, but just don't think about it too much. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Right. Ready?
Right. Here we go. So, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Sports car or SUV?
Sports car.
Yeah, I knew that. City life or country life?
City life.
City life. All right. Cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog. Favorite color?
Pink.
Pink. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Bourbon and Coke.
Bourbon and Coke.
I love wine, but I'm allergic to it. I can't drink it. So
a bourbon and Coke girl.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Where's that from? Is that like straight out of Wollongong or?
Thanks. Jim Beam and Coke.
Queensland influence.
Well, no, it's just the drink that I'm able to drink and not have migraines. We suffer migraines. It's a drink that I can drink where I don't get
migraines. Yep. Okay. And last one. Jet ski or paddle ski?
Jet ski or paddling? Oh, It depends. I got to do both on one
depends. I
day.
told you, don't think about this. What do you have more fun
jet
on?
ski.
Yeah, jet ski.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought that might be the case. More
Yeah, you
fun.
can go further.
Yeah, further, faster, and a little bit more risky, which is
Yes.
right down your alley.
Exactly. Straight out into the Seaway, turn right, and then straight along looking at the Gold Coast. It's beautiful, spectacular.
Yeah, magnificent. Honey, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing with everybody your knowledge. Everybody, Lisa B, you can find her at lisab.com.au. She also has a very popular Facebook page, Let's Talk About Real Estate. You can find her there as well, which the Let's Talk About Real Estate has some fantastic content. We have lots of fun times in there as well. So make sure you hit her up and ask to join that page. Sweetheart, have a beautiful weekend.
You too.
I know. Where are you going? Oh, you're going to Cairns.
Yes, going to Cairns for the weekend.
Oh, so. Is it a dirty weekend or is it a mummy weekend? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I don't need to know. I don't know.
It's a lovely weekend, bushwalking and
beautiful.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah, all right, honey. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Beautiful. See you.
Bye.
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 Wow. Well, there you go. I hope you liked the episode. If you like that, then what you need to do is you need to subscribe. You need to get more of this craziness because we got more are coming. I'm never standing still, and we've got so many more guests. We've got so many more strategies, more out-of-the-box thinking. So if you haven't subscribed, literally, you're like throwing away thousands of dollars. Because I tell you, if you haven't subscribed, you don't come back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find you, I'm going to market to you, and I'm going to charge you for the very stuff that on this podcast we give away for free. So whack that subscribe button on whatever your favourite podcast weapon of destruction is, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.